Hey, welcome. This is Here's to Your Good Health. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center. And this show is for you, by you, and about you. This is Here's to Your Good Health. It's a community-sponsored program hosted by WHIG TV. And you know, WHIG is so community-oriented. And this is just one of the multitude of community shows that they sponsor. But I love this because I'm a nurse practitioner, because good health I'm passionate about, and I want you to be as healthy as you can be and do as well as you can be. So I told my guest the wrong time, so she is on her way. So we're just going to chat for a few minutes until she gets here. Dr. Jean is here tonight. She does weight loss, and we're going to talk about stress and what it does to us and why it makes us eat and other things along the way. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I want to give a shout out I want to dedicate this show to one of my patients who passed this week. She was a really dear friend. She prayed for me faithfully. I'd known Kathy for probably 30 years. And she would call frequently on the show when she felt like it several years ago. She hasn't called much lately. But, you know, it was kind of interesting. I was on call this weekend, and I got a call in the middle of the night about a patient of the clinic who passed away. And so I said, yes, we would take care of the death certificate. So when I went to work Monday, I saw that death certificate on my desk, I expected it to be the patient I'd talked to the hospital about. But it wasn't. It was Kathy. And it really shook me up a little bit to begin with. I guess because I wasn't expecting it. I knew she was very, very sick. And for probably the last year, every time I saw her, she said, I just want to go home and be with my daddy. And so I'm not sad that she's passed away, because that was her heart's desire. She knew the Lord. She knows that she was going to see him. She's certainly in a much better place. I guess I was expecting one thing and I got something else. I guess that's what it was. So she was a great lady. Years ago, she used to work with what do you call that, when you gather all your credit cards and give them to an agency and they help you pay off and get rid of all your debt. She did that for a long time, and she's been really sick for a long time. She was a heavy smoker at one point, and the cigarettes got to her, and that's what really killed her, was her lack of lung function. She had very little movement in her lungs. When you listened to her, you couldn't hear breaths going in and out very well. And so I know she's in a better place. And Richard, if you happen to be watching, I just want to extend my sympathies to you. You were a great husband to her, and he was right there with her every time she came to the to the office, and every time she had her blood drawn and everything. And so it's just, you know, it's a good time, but it's a sad time altogether. So if you have any questions, what is this date? August 4th, and it's 7:05, and I'm live tonight. So if you have any questions, give us a call, 407-1111. So we are, like I said, going to talk about weight loss and stress and what makes us eat and why we overeat, and the food that we buy in the grocery store that's so unhealthy for us. I wish I had an answer to why the food industry is so unhealthy, but I really don't, other than they want to sell products to you and they want to make money. I guess that's it. But so we're going to talk about that. I'll talk a little bit about exercise. You know, I've been trying to walk at least 2 miles a day, and I get on my elliptical in the mornings. I'm getting up 15 minutes earlier than normal. So I get up, make my coffee, drink a cup of coffee, read my Bible, and I journal sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I have something to write in my journal, sometimes I don't. And then I get on my elliptical, and then I get ready for work. So I try to get at least 2 miles of walking, and that doesn't count the 15 or 20 minutes on the elliptical. And it really does make me feel so much better. You know, I preached about exercise for a long time, but I wasn't doing it like I should. So I'm trying to increase. I'd like to get up to 3 miles a day, but with my schedule, it's just kind of hard, you know, because I'm up and down all day at the office, going from one patient to another, but I don't get a lot of steps in. So, you know, I always park my car as far as I can away from the door, so I have to walk. Wasn't very pleasant this morning in that pouring down rain, but, excuse me, but that's okay. And, you know, I always take the stairs at work. I do not take the elevator. In fact, I don't know if I've ever even ridden in that elevator. I'm surely I have in the last 9 years I've been there, but not very often. I usually take this back stairs and go up that way. And we go up, we have our kitchen and our little dining room is upstairs, so I go up there to eat most of the time. But you know, there's just so many things you can do to add steps to your daily regimen. I was waiting for my friend to get here, and so I just walked around out here in Wesleyan. I did it inside because it was still raining a little bit when I came in. I hope the rain is gone. Excuse me. It makes me so tired. I just want to crawl under the covers and watch a movie. Do y'all feel that way? I just don't do well when I don't have sunlight and sunshine. But so I'm almost to my goal. I've got 1.9 miles, so I've got to get 1/10 of a mile in yet. I believe I'll be able to do that and maybe go a little bit more. When we were at Ocracoke a couple weeks ago, I was putting on 10,000 steps a day, which is really, that's the national goal, is 10,000 steps a day. But, you know, I just, when I get home from work, y'all, I'm so tired. My brain is like dead. It's just, it doesn't work. And,
amen, sister.
Oh, God, he scared me. And so you know, sometimes I sit in the chair and take a little nap for 20 or 30 minutes before I can do anything. Sometimes I got a little bit of energy and I do some things after work, and sometimes I don't. It just depends upon my day, depends upon how late it is in the week. You know, the more days I get up and do my routine, the more tired I become. So, anyway, excuse me, I don't know why. Every time I get in front of this camera, I start yawning. My husband's here. He snuck up on me. I didn't hear him. He came with me, so I didn't have to drive by myself. Sometimes I just get tired of driving by myself. So anyway, he was sweet enough to do that for me. So we are, like I said, as soon as Jean gets here, we will be talking about weight loss. And I belong to an obesity foundation or obesity conference. Obesity group, I don't know what you call it, because all the Americans are fat. We're all obese. I mean, and this is the pot calling the skillet black here. I know some of you out there are a good weight, and I commend you for that. I'm trying to be a good weight. I've lost about 20 pounds. I need to lose some more, but I'm going in the right direction, so that's a good thing. But it's, you know, I think really eating healthy, eating whole foods, eating good food, excuse me, eating the food that God made instead of the stuff that's in the middle of the grocery store, it's just not. Here's my friend. I told her the wrong time. So she's actually early. I told her it was 7:15, and I was, in my mind, I was thinking, I'll see you at 6:45, but I think my words came out as 7:15. So I apologize. Hi, Jean.
Hey.
Come and sit down.
Okay.
I think most of you all remember Dr. Jean White. Gonna have to fix us, Lee. There you go. There she is. I didn't have to move or anything. I don't know how he does all that.
Miracle of TV.
I know, right? So Dr. Jean is a weight loss champion. She's a weight loss health coach. She will encourage you to keep going the way you're supposed to. She can can put her money where her mouth is. She's lost 100 and some pounds. And she's still going down, I think. Are you trying to?
Trying to, yeah. Trying to.
So, I was just telling the audience that I was trying to get at least 2 miles in the day walking.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Most of the days I make it. Some days I don't. Sometimes I get 3 miles. It just depends. But on the weekends, I get a lot more steps because I'm not regulated to having to sit down.
Right.
So I get more exercise.
I'm trying to work up to that. I had bursitis in my hip about a month ago, and I couldn't walk at all for a couple weeks. And now I'm up to a mile a day. So
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm going to
That
try to increase it.
bursitis, arthritis, it's a killer.
It is.
And the more birthdays we have, the more aches and pains we seem to have.
That's true.
But the key to really keeping your joints and all moving is exercise.
Don't stop just because it hurts.
Right. But you might have to stop for a week or two if it's really,
really
painful.
inflamed.
Yeah, because it gets inflamed. That's the exact right word. And we need to do things to put in our body as anti-inflammatories. There's lots of natural anti-inflammatories. There's essential oils, there's turmeric, there's anti-inflammatory foods, and one of the highest inflammatory foods is sugar.
Sugar, yes.
And highly, highly addictive.
And what do we want to eat when we don't feel good?
Sugar.
And what makes us feel worse when we don't feel good?
Sugar.
There you go.
It's just it's a catch-22. It's like we're on that wheel like the hamster, But it's hard to get off sugar. It really is.
Because it's 10 times more addictive than heroin.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, I know. I tell my patients that. So.
They don't believe you, right?
Yeah, they do, but they don't do anything about it. And I tell them if they would drop even 10% of their body weight, they would feel 100% better. They don't believe me in that either. And then when somebody comes in and has lost some weight, I feel so much better. Yes, I know. I don't know. What is a trick? How do we...
And you want to say, I told you so.
Yeah, I do. But I try not to be snotty about it. But so what do you think the trick is to get people to...
I think they have to have a vision for what they want, not what they want to get away from.
Yeah.
Because that's not strong enough. And it's just depressing to think that it's always better to have a positive outlook than a positive mindset than a negative mindset. And if you think, like when I retired, that's how I lost weight, was when I retired. I was way overweight, taking bukus of medications for diabetes and thyroid and arthritis and fatty liver and high cholesterol and all the stuff that you get when you're being overweight. And I'd already had a knee replacement, and I was looking at my shoulder and my hip and all that having to be replaced in the future if that didn't make changes. And I thought, if I don't make any changes now, when you retire, that's the time when you look at what are you going to do with the next part of your life, And most people want to make that hobby and grandchildren centered.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
And I don't have grandchildren because I was never married, never had any children. I do have hobbies, though, that I couldn't do anymore because I just couldn't do them with all the issues that I had. And I was thinking, if I don't make a change within about 2 or 3 years, I'm going to be in a nursing home. And I do not want to spend all my retirement years in a nursing home.
Oh, no.
That was just like, no, I don't want that.
That was mortifying.
So when I tried to go on a diet, and I kept looking at that and saying, I don't want that, you'd think that'd be strong enough to give you the willpower and the motivation to stay on an eating plan that'll help you lose the weight. But it was a negative thing, and it just made me feel hopeless. It made me feel like, I've got to lose over 100 pounds to get to a healthy weight.
How am I going to
do this? Because being on an eating plan is hard. And how am I going to do this long enough to get to where and then how many times in my life have I been on a diet before?
Hundreds.
And lost weight and then gained it back plus some,
Yes.
And that's how I got to where I was by all the diets I'd been on,
Yes.
Because I was always worse off after I finished the diet than when I started it. And I didn't change that mindset until I found the Optavia program. And Optavia doesn't put you in a negative mindset. It puts you on, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? So you're looking forward to something rather than dreading something.
Right.
Put you in a better mind frame and gives you more energy, makes you more positive. As far as mindset, the mindset is the key.
Yeah.
It happens up here first.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with what you're eating first.
Yeah.
And it happens up here. Having a positive mindset gives you more energy, more willpower, more motivation than having a negative.
And then once you make a small accomplishment, you feel so good, you're ready to do more and more.
And you don't say, I've got to lose 180 pounds. I recommend like 5% as your first goal. So if you weigh 200 pounds and you want to lose weight, okay, 5% of 200 is 10 pounds, yeah. So my first goal for that patient would be, that client would be 10 pounds. This is our goal. We're not looking at 180 pounds. We're not talking about 180 pounds. We're talking about 10 pounds.
Right.
And the good thing is that every time you lose weight, 5% is less weight. So the goal each time comes down. And then you think about, okay, how are you going to reward yourself for
Chocolate cake?
No.
Oh.
Can't be food. Think about like clothes or jewelry or, being able to go on a weekend trip or something like that. Whatever, a date with your husband. Whatever floats your boat,
Whatever.
It's different for everybody.
That's exactly right. We all have different.
So you have to give yourself, okay, well, I'm going to lose this 10 pounds and then I'm going to reward myself. Okay, now I've got, what's the next 5%? We calculate that, and then you look forward to the reward that you're going to get at the end of that.
Right.
And so you keep setting goals that are achievable, that are not going to take forever.
Right.
So you keep getting rewarded for that.
I think that's one of the goals is, I tell my patients, you're never going to not eat another cheeseburger. Don't even say that.
Never.
Because you're going to eat a cheeseburger sooner or later someplace. So, but what you do is, and if you got to go fast food, get something healthy. So if you got to have the cheeseburger, get a salad instead of the fries.
Right.
Just simple little things like that can make a big difference.
People, whenever I go out with friends, they always say, well, where can you go that you can get what you need to eat? I can go anywhere. I can almost any place I go, except for, forget that hamburger place. It only has hamburgers and fries. What's it called? I can't think of the name of it.
Five.
Yeah, right, yeah, whatever. That's probably the only place I can't get what I need. But, and I could probably get that, just the hamburger without but that's not about, they don't have salads or anything like that. But most every place I go, I can get something, that I can eat.
Because they'll have salads,
Right.
if nothing else.
Right. So I don't have to have my friends change their plans in order to accommodate my diet.
Right.
That's because that's hard. You want it to be achievable. You don't want it to make life more difficult.
Where everybody else goes.
Yeah, because that's part of the mindset is that you want to be with people.
Right.
You want to be, because that gives you more energy, and it gives you, people noticing that you've lost weight and saying, okay, you're losing weight, we want to help you do that. That gives you more motivation to stay on that plan than to go out and eat stuff that you know that you're not supposed to eat and gain weight when they're just complimented you on losing the weight. You want to maintain that.
Right.
So, we don't want a diet plan that's going to be so difficult that it's hard and taking energy and
So diet should be a healthy way to eat, not a and a lifestyle change.
Yes.
Not a negative, but you're going to do this for the rest of your life, because once you lose the weight, you want to keep it off.
I try not to use the word diet because it has such negative connotations for people.
Yes.
Because they've been on so many diets before. So I use eating plan.
Right. And there's so many
loss.
fads out there. So, all right, it's time for our first break. So when we come back, we'll get more of Dr. Jean. We're going to talk about stress and what stress does to us eating, because it's not good. Stress isn't good, period. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Don't go away.
At Down East Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Down East Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Down East Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
Hi, I'm Richard Koss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, welcome back to Here's to Your Good Health. I'm with Dr. Jean, and we've been talking a little bit about weight loss, setting practical goals for your weight loss. If you want to lose X amount of pounds, set a small goal of 5 or 10 pounds. Once you accomplish that goal, it makes you feel so much better, and then, according to Dr. Jean, you can reward yourselves with something. I tried to say chocolate cake, but that was not.
Not gonna let her get away with that.
No, she's not going to let me get away with that. So let's talk a little bit about stress.
Okay.
We live in such a stressful world.
We do.
And you can't turn on the news without
No, you can't.
some stressor going on.
So, first of all, let's understand what stress is, okay? Stress is a threat, perceived threat, to something that you care, to somebody or something that you care about. Could be just to yourself. It doesn't have to be a conscious knowledge of the threat. If it's a subconscious knowledge of the threat, that's enough to cause the stress. Originally, when we were created, stress was designed for survival. Because the stress was probably going to be a saber-toothed tiger.
Right.
Then you were out hunting, you and your group out hunting, and a saber-toothed tiger comes on you. You either have to run fast enough to get away from that tiger, or the group has got to kill that tiger. Okay? So this fight or flight chemicals that your body produces gives you extra energy and extra strength so that you can either run fast enough to get away or fight hard enough to kill the tiger. That's what the stress response is, okay? But when you either run or kill the tiger, you're using up all those chemicals. And then when you drag that tiger home and feed your clan with it, you go to sleep. And when you wake up, you're drinking and you're eating and replenishing and you're ready to go again, okay? But we don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore.
No.
That we're running away from.
Right.
Our stresses are things like too much work on our job, or fighting with our spouse, or our kids being bullied at school and you don't know what to do about it. or being overweight. That's a stress, or diseases.
Right.
Which, we didn't have that many diseases back then because people didn't live long enough
Right.
to have the
Right.
diseases.
Right.
But, or have the lifestyle to have all the diseases that we have now. Most of our diseases are lifestyle diseases at this point.
Yes.
So what happens is that stress, those chemicals are in our bodies, but we're not using them up. So they just build up and build up and build up. Well, if the stress chemicals are designed to make you run or fight, and you're not running or fighting, what's that going to feel like? Makes you feel anxious, makes you feel tense, makes you want to hit somebody, So that affects your relationships. If you can't sleep well. It depends on the person. Some people eat more, some people eat less. They have no appetite, they don't want to eat anything.
Right.
I wish that was the case.
Yeah, that is not my
That's
problem.
not my problem either. But there are people that,
Yes,
for
that's
whom,
right.
no, it's the stress that's causing them to lose
Yeah.
weight. When they come to see you and they're losing weight and they're not on a diet, then what do you ask them? Before you start treating them for cancer,
Right.
you're going to ask them about their
That's
stress
right.
level,
That's
right?
exactly right.
And if you can't really find, then you're going to, any stress, then you're going to start, looking for cancer or something like that causes you to lose weight when you're not, or thyroid issues or something, the things that cause weight loss without trying.
Right.
But so stress level, it makes everything worse. Every disease that you have is going to get worse when you're stressed and you're not dealing with the stress. Arthritis gets worse. Diabetes gets worse. Thyroid, did I say thyroid? Thyroid issues get worse. Insomnia gets worse. Everything gets worse. So that you have to do something to use up those chemicals, to get rid of those chemicals. And the best thing is to exercise. And we can talk about getting rid of stress later, but we're talking about the causes of stress right now. So, and understanding that that's what stress is. It's that fight or flight syndrome
Right.
that we're not utilizing. We're not utilizing those chemicals that are in our bodies. And so they just eat at us, and they build up inside of us and cause all kinds of issues. And if you're not, and all the issues that it causes are interactive. So like if you are on an eating plan to lose weight and you can't sleep, you're not going to lose weight because there are chemical processes that happen only when you sleep. They don't happen any other time. So if you're not getting enough sleep, those chemical processes are not happening. Even though you are sticking straight to that diet, you're not losing weight because you're not sleeping.
Right.
And then you get frustrated. I'm sticking to the diet. I'm doing everything she said to do,
right.
and I'm not losing weight. And then you get upset and you say, why bother? And you just go off the diet. So, yeah, so.
And see, when I don't have enough sleep, I don't feel good, and so I eat to try and make myself feel better.
Exactly.
And that doesn't work either.
And then when you're not feeling good and you have all that stuff built up inside of you, you snap at your spouse, you snap at your kids, you're not kind, and then you get upset with yourself.
Bob's over there in the
Little
corner
peanut gallery over here
laughing.
saying, yeah, that's right, that's what she does. And then you get upset with yourself because you don't like yourself when you're that way.
Right, exactly.
And then you eat because you're upset with yourself.
Right, and then you yell at your spouse. Well,
Yeah.
I yell at my spouse.
That's right.
So it's just a big old
Yeah.
mess.
It is. It really is.
But we're gonna, get better. I've got a sign in one of my exam rooms that says, food is the most overused anxiety medicine, and exercise is the least.
Is the most
I can't
most
remember how it's worded.
underused medicine. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Just take a walk.
I know. I can tell you, even just walking inside around here for about 4 laps, it made me feel better.
Yeah, it does. And research has shown that walking in green,
You mean like outside
like
with
outside,
trees
yeah.
and, okay.
And the trees and stuff are in a garden, is like 4 times more effective than walking around buildings.
Because it's,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
They call it, in some countries, they call it tree bathing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to go tree bathing. It just means you're going to walk in the forest. It's all it means. You're going to walk like on the greenery, the green. What do you call the greenway? Here in Rocky Mountain, we have a greenway, and walking in the greenway would be tree bathing.
Right.
And it's 4 times more effective than walking
Well, it's
around
peaceful
buildings.
and
very
it's
peaceful.
calming.
You're not seeing the busyness of the people or anything
Right.
like that.
See, that's why I love living in the country.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you can go tree bathing right in your yard.
bathe,
Yeah.
and I can bathe in the nude in my trees.
Yes, you can.
But ain't nobody there but fox and,
I didn't need that picture.
what do I got in those woods? Fox and coyotes and, I wouldn't do it. I'd be afraid I'd get, Can you imagine?
Somebody drive up.
well, or I'd run into a patch
Yeah.
of poison ivy or
Oh, yeah,
something, and
yeah.
it would be in a very inappropriate place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But this time of year, people avoid tree bathing or any other kind of walking because of the heat.
It's so hot.
Yeah, so
Here
then you
it
need to
is,
find
yeah.
places indoors to
Yeah.
walk. And you can always like go to the mall or go. Sometimes I'll go to like first thing in the morning if I'm up to walking. I'm not good first thing in the morning, but that's the only time of day. I know the rest of the day looks like, and I know that's the only time I can get my walk in. I'll go to Walmart and just walk around inside the perimeter of the Walmart for a couple of times, and that'll give you a mile.
Yeah.
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 And it's cool enough in there, and there's hardly anybody there
Yeah,
that
at
time
that
of the
time of
morning.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can walk as fast as I want to. It doesn't bother anybody, and then I walk out the door. Nobody says anything to me.
See, I go to bed with the chickens and get up with the chickens, so I love going to the store first thing in the morning because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
I like my quiet time.
It's pretty quiet in most of the stores that
At that time of day, yeah.
It is.
8 o'clock at night, I'm done. I'm ready for the recliner and,
I'm not a morning person, but
yeah.
sometimes I have to make myself get up early
Well,
in order to get things done that I need to get
Well,
done.
and, we're all different. When I worked at the hospital, I could not work, I could do second shift. That wouldn't, I could, that would work, but trying to work night shift, no way. And my friend Caroline, she always worked night shift. She comes alive about 7 at night, and I'm
Yeah. No.
So we got all these chemicals in us, we got all this stress built up, and I don't think people even realize it.
I don't.
So,
Because like I say, most of the time it's subconscious. They don't realize things are being threatened. When you think of a threat, you think of things that you know are threatened.
Right.
But things that are happening, you don't really, it's a subconscious realization that
right.
this is a threat. You're dealing like if your boss is giving you too much work to do and you can't get it done, you're just getting angry with the boss and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get all this work done, and you're not thinking what's being threatened, and what's being threatened is if you don't get the job done, you can get fired.
right.
And then how are you going to pay your bills,
Right,
and how are you going to raise
right.
your family? You could lose your home, and then and your car, and you're just all
And it just-
snowballing.
Yes.
But you don't realize that your mind is doing that. It's
Yeah,
thinking that
yeah,
down the line, going on this rabbit trail of all the bad things that could happen because you're not getting the job done,
Right.
and you could get fired, and you don't realize your mind is doing that
Right.
subconsciously.
Yeah, my son-in-law is in a real bad place right now with work. He really does not like his present position, and he's been really looking for something else, and he's pretty stressed right now.
Not liking your job is one of the.
Well, you spend too much time, 8 hours, a third of your day is at work.
At least.
And then, you've got a third of your day, you should be in your bed sleeping. So that leaves a third of the day for you, but it's all chopped up because you've got a little bit of that third getting up in the morning, getting dressed, getting ready. Then you got part of that third coming home and cooking, and
Right.
and then, you got to maybe clean the toilet or run the vacuum or something, you don't
To
really
stay
have
healthy,
it. So, yeah,
yeah.
stress is bad.
It does. Just you're dealing with your emotions of that. The not nationally, worldwide, the number one cause of death in human beings is cardiac disease. And it doesn't matter what country you're in. That's the number one.
number one.
That's number one everywhere. But Dr. Anderson, the founder of the company that I coach for, he says he believes that that's not true. He thinks the number one cause
Stress.
is emotional mismanagement. That's what he calls it. People don't know how to handle their emotions, their feelings,
Yeah.
and so they let the stress build up. because they don't know how to handle
Yeah.
the stress. And that makes the heart issues worse.
Yeah.
But how many people have a heart attack when something happens that stresses them out? They're already stressed enough.
And then there's
something
that
happens,
one little catalyst.
one little thing, and they have a heart attack and they die.
Yeah. We've got to, as a people, we've got to learn how to deal with our stress and deal with our emotions more.
And that's why in the program that I coach, we deal a lot with emotional management. And
That's
how to
really
deal with that,
important.
so people can.
Because none of us are good at dealing with that. And, I mean, the older I get, the more I see how poorly I've done so many things.
Me too.
You know, and all you can do at this point is say, well, I learned that now, I gotta
Yeah.
put it into play.
Yeah.
So, I saw a 19-year-old kid today who came in for insomnia. 19. Should
Stress
be
is
on
getting
the-
younger and younger.
Yes,
yeah.
and I said to him, I said, well, how long have you been like this? Because he said, I can't turn my brain off. That's the biggest thing. I can't turn my brain off. And I can't turn my brain off. I've learned how to, but for years I was sleep deprived. And he said, I've been this way ever since I was a little boy. I never remember sleeping.
Think of the increase in the suicide rate among children now. You never used to hear about children committing suicide.
No.
And now
It was rare. Once in a blue
yeah.
moon, some guy, his girlfriend broke up with him or something, but for the most part it was, and now it's pretty prominent.
they're not taught how to deal with.
Right.
that
Because their
stress.
parents don't know how to deal with it.
They don't.
Probably. I think we just need to get back to the simple basics. We need to get back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs and forget all this other stuff, but you can't tell people that.
No.
I wish I could. I wish I had the persuasiveness and the ability to really catch their attention and make my point across. But
Well, in a practice like you're in, that's one of the disadvantages that practitioners have today. They used to be able to spend the time they needed to spend the time with their patients to explore those things and to educate them and to help them learn how to deal with those things. But now all you can say is you got to reduce your stress, but you don't have time to tell them how.
Right.
Because you got
Right.
another patient to see.
and I'm stressed because I got another
That's
patient.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
So, yeah, and drinking isn't the answer, smoking pot isn't the answer, Xanax isn't the answer.
No.
But sometimes people come in and they're so stressed out, they have to have a little,
Yeah.
a little cushion of
I
some
always
sort.
think of Dr. Anderson, the founder of the company that I coach for. He said in one of the lectures he was giving, he said nobody ever got vibrantly healthy from taking medicines.
Oh, no,
The
absolutely.
medicines they're just chemicals and they're
Yes.
all poisonous.
Yes.
Sometimes
yes.
you have to take them in order to
Yes.
stay alive
That's
because of
right.
the disease that you have. But you don't get vibrantly healthy from taking
No,
medication.
No.
So you've got
Just
to learn
the
the natural
opposite.
ways of doing it,
Yes.
your health style, your mindset, and your lifestyle.
Right.
All those things are much more important than the medication that you're taking.
Right.
And in most cases, you can get rid of the medications.
How many pills did you get off of?
I was on 27 of them, and I was down to 6. But now that I've developed this arrhythmia, I'm up to
yeah.
7 now.
Yeah, her heart went a little funky
Yeah,
there.
it did.
It did, but you know what? I'm
Yeah.
glad there's medicine for
That, me
that.
too, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise that,
I'm getting used to that medicine now. I felt kind of drugged the last couple of days because I just started taking it, but
yeah.
my body will get used to it. So,
So sometimes, we're not saying that eating everything right and not taking drugs is always the way to go, because there are things that happen that we have
Yeah.
to take medicine for.
That's right.
But for the most part, I've got 70-year-old patients that don't take any medicine because they've kept their weight down, they've exercised, they've done all the right things, and they don't have to take any of the medicine that so many other ones do. All right, we're going to take our second break, and when we get back, we'll be back with more of Here's to Good Health with Dr. Jean and Linda, and if you want to give us a call, it's 407-1111. See you in a minute.
At Down East Hearing Care Associates, we are dedicated to taking care of every client by providing personal, high-quality hearing care services. My staff and I know hearing loss affects each person and their loved ones differently, so we give you the time and the care you need to ensure the hearing technology chosen fits your lifestyle. At Down East Hearing Care, we also make custom ear molds and specialize in emergency hearing aid repairs. Down East Hearing Care Associates has 2 locations, one in Knightdale and one in Rocky Mount. We have hearing lives to save.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. And you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
We're trying to figure out some directions, and I'm not explaining myself very well, as usual. But anyway, this is Here's Your Good Health. Welcome back. We're going to talk now. We've been talking about stress and how detrimental that is, how lack of sleep is so detrimental, how eating a good, healthy diet and making a new way of living, a good, healthy lifestyle is not something that happens overnight. You got to think about it, and it took me probably 5 years to grab a peach instead of potato chips. And there's lots of times I still grab the potato chips because I want something, because my taste buds tell me, or I got mad at Bob, or who knows why. But so
It's an old track playing in your brain.
yes, I got to
Yeah.
get rid of that track, but it keeps playing,
It says potato chips are going to give me energy and make me feel good.
and they really
But they
don't.
don't.
They don't do anything for you.
Yeah. In fact, remember with the fight or flight stress response, your body's putting these chemicals that make you want to run or fight. Mm-hmm. And then you put sugar in your body, and that gives you even more energy.
Yes,
and then
beets.
you're feeling anxious, and
Yes.
yeah, it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
But every time I eat sugar, I think, why did I do that?
I know.
Because then I don't feel good. I feel anxious and stressed, and I'm feeling like,
And I can tell you, the more sugar I don't eat, we have some of the most beautiful desserts that come up to our office.
yeah, you do.
I mean, they are...
The drug reps are pushing
The diabetic drug reps are pushing the sugar. You're exactly right. But those are so picture perfect. They're like something you'd see in Better Homes and Garden.
Yep.
But when you actually eat some of it, it's not even good. It really isn't. Very rarely. I mean, I take some once in a while. So I got a sweet tooth, but sometimes I got to have something.
Yes.
But most of the time when I have that, it looks a lot better than it really tastes. So, and this is a great time of year for us to be eating healthy.
Oh,
The
yeah,
farmer's
the vegetables
market.
and everything. Oh,
Do you go to the farmer's market?
Yeah.
I love the farmer's market.
now it's open on Tuesdays too. So.
Yeah. I usually don't go on Tuesdays because it doesn't
You're
have
working.
as much, and I'm working. They used to do food on Tuesday nights, and so Bob would come into town, and we would have supper there.
The food trucks are.
There was a food
Yeah.
truck last Tuesday because I drove by on the way to that other meeting I went to, but yeah, so,
Yeah, food trucks typically have fast foods.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not as
They're not,
healthy. Yeah.
no.
Typically, there are some that are healthy, but
We had a food truck in Red Oak, and it was collards and tacos.
combination.
And I'm like, no. And then one time at the farmer's market, it was build your own taco. And what they did was, I thought it was gross. Bob didn't mind, but they gave you like a small little bag, an individual sized bag of like Doritos, and then or corn chips or something. And then they had a station where you could put some meat in on top of it, and then some cheese on top. I thought that was just the most disgusting thing. I hated it. So I haven't really been back for supper since then. But
I hear you.
yeah.
But that you can get such great vegetables and
Yes.
greens and fruits and stuff.
And what I do, Jean, because I'm too tired when I come home at night to cook, I try to cook 3 or 4 different meals on the weekends, and then I eat off of it during the week. So that's kind of my saving
Most of the
grace.
recipes that I make are for 4, and I'm by myself. So when I have it cooked, I'll put it on a plate, and then 3 refrigerator containers, right? And I'll put 1 refrigerator container in the refrigerator, and the other 2 in the freezer. So I'll eat that because I don't like to have the same thing every night. And then
Yeah.
2 days later, I'll have the second one, and the other 2 are in the freezer. So after a week or 2, I don't have to cook all week long because
Yeah.
I've got
All that,
a
yeah,
week's worth of
yeah.
stuff in the freezer that I can
Yeah.
just take out the night before and
Yeah.
thaw and stick in the
Yeah.
microwave. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of advice we could give these young moms who, they work all day, then their kids are playing sports, they've got to run them to a game or run them to practice, what kind of information
I
can
think
we...
planning and food prep is really important
Yeah.
in that kind of situation. Getting your menus together, what you're going to have, and then prepping as much as you can ahead of time so that the prep work is done.
Yeah.
And as your kids get old enough, they can prep. So teaching your kids so that you're not the only one that's having to cook.
Right. The only one having to do all the work.
Right. Yeah. And they if they're helping to prepare it, they're more likely to eat it
That is very
than
true.
if they're not helping to prepare it.
That is very true, because
So-
my daughter-in-law will have her boys help in the kitchen, well, all 3 of her kids. But, and Bentley was really a picky eater. I mean, at one point in his life, he would eat a hot dog, spaghetti, and a corn dog, and that was it, nothing else. And so, when he got a little bit older and could handle a knife and a paring knife and that kind of thing, his mom would have him help her, and he started tasting things because he was working with them and feeling them and touching them and smelling them, and so now he eats just about everything. He's not as picky as he was, but Lord have mercy.
I'm the oldest of 6 children. And my mom had us so that every night, one of us was helping her to cook the meal. Because you can't have 6 kids in the kitchen cooking with you.
Right.
But even the boys, because there's 3 girls and, 4 girls and 2 boys in our family. And that's one thing I appreciated, that she didn't exclude the guys. She said, you guys need to learn how to
That's
cook
right.
too. So
That's
then
exactly
they
right.
had to cook too. And then we had to take 1 bite of everything that was cooked. Whether you liked it or not, you had to have 1 bite.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it and you hate it, you get 1 bite down. You know? And some of those things that I didn't like, summer squash, I couldn't stand it, but I ate 1 bite. Now it's one of my favorite foods.
Yeah, it's funny
But,
how our
yeah,
taste buds
taste
change,
buds
isn't it?
But
Yeah.
if I had never eaten it, because I didn't like it the first time I tried it, I probably wouldn't like it now. But yeah, that's,
Yeah. Well, and our emotional health is so important too. And, I'm glad that our society is getting rid of some of the stigma of having to go to a counselor or having to take some medicine for a little while
Right.
to get you over a hump.
doesn't make you a bad person or a weak person. or
Right,
anything
it's
like that,
just
yeah.
something we all need. But I was an emotional eater from as far back as I can remember. I was an emotional eater, and I wonder why at 4 years old I had emotional issues that I needed taken care of. And way back then,
Yeah.
they didn't do anything.
No,
My dad was a World War II vet, and now I know, as I look back, I know he had PTSD. But when you're a little kid and your dad doesn't want anything to do with you, you think you're wrong. You think there's something wrong with you.
Oh, yes, you do.
And so I used to blame my dad. I don't blame him anymore because I finally got grown up. But yeah,
But children don't know, and adults don't know either, but children have no way of learning.
right.
They don't have the resources or they know how to learn how to deal with their emotions. But adults should know when they need help
Yeah,
and be able to get the help they need, and recognize it in their children when they need help, and get the help that they need too.
yeah. I think all of my 2 children that have children, I think that they've been much better parents than I was. Bob was always much more in tune with his emotions, and he was always much better with the kids than me. I was kind of an emotional wreck.
Every family's different.
That's
So
right.
let's talk a little bit about how we do deal with the stress.
All right.
then.
How do we
So
deal with
what
it?
We recognize that we're stressful, we're feeling
Okay.
anxious, we've got all this energy that,
Right.
from all these chemicals are wanting us to fight or flight. So what would be, if, just logically,
Mm-hmm.
if they're designed, those chemicals that for the stress response are designed for running or fighting, what would be the logical first
Either you
thing?
get in the boxing ring or you
walk.
run
Walk or run, yeah. So just taking a walk
Yeah.
is the number 1, yeah. Number 2 is exercise, not just walking, but exercise. And the more aggressive the exercise is, the more it's going to help. Like one of those, what do you call those things that you hit?
Oh, the little bag
The
thing?
bag thing that you hit,
Yeah. What do you call
boxing
that?
thing, I don't know what you call those things,
I don't know.
but those.
Punching bag.
Punching bag, yeah, punching bag is great, so that, something that's gonna be aggressive like that, or getting out and tilling the soil in your garden, pulling weeds, things that are, yanking those weeds up, make that, your boss is,
That's
I'm
why I
pulling
like-
them up,
That's why I like to make bread, because you can take that dough,
Knead it,
roll
yeah,
it down,
right, yeah.
push it, and
Right,
knead it.
yeah. Something like that where you're using aggressive energy
Yeah.
like that will help. That's your second thing. The third thing is breathing. Most of us don't think about breathing as an exercise, but it is.
It is.
Yeah. So just trying to take deep breaths and slow your breathing down and help your body to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
It helps too.
It really does.
Also, one of the things that I've learned that helps a lot is if you can take 10 minutes, set a timer for 10 minutes, and just sit in a comfortable place and put your hands on your lap and try to get all of the thoughts out of your brain that help make your body relax. And start with your toes and work up to your head. Like tighten up your toes and just hold them there, and then let go and feel the tension release from your toes. Do that a couple times. And then just your foot. And then go up to your calves, and then your thighs, and then your belly, and your butt, and your low back and your chest. And it helps to put your hand on your whatever part of your body is to feel it and feel that stress going out. And then start with your fingers and do that. And then your hand, and then your arm and your upper arm, your shoulders. Shrug your shoulders and hold it, and then let it go. Pull them back, pull them forward like that. And then your neck, forward and back and left and right. Do that a couple times, and each time you do it, feel the stress coming out of your body.
Right.
And then your face, scrunch it
I've
up,
done
make an
that,
ugly
and it
face.
really does
it does.
work.
And you're trying to not concentrate on anything but the release of tension from your body. And if thoughts come into your brain, you want to release those thoughts. And a good way to do that is to have a mantra, something that you say. And it could be love, it could be peace, it could be, I like Maranatha because it means come, Lord Jesus. And I want that. It's the Spirit and the Holy Spirit in my life. So that when I'm thinking of those things, I say, okay, no, Maranatha, Maranatha, get that, and you go back to releasing the tension from your body to keep that. If you can do that until the timer goes off in 10 minutes. If you have time, 20 minutes is even better. But when you're in our stressful world, 20 minutes is hard to find. So most people can get 10 minutes to just release that. Same thing when you go to bed at night and you're having a hard time getting to sleep. If you're laying in bed, do the same thing. Start with your toes, work your way up, then to your chest, and then to your hands. And then it's funny, but putting your squeezing your head, it kind of puts tension on the scalp muscles, and that relieves headaches and things like that. So
It's amazing.
it
isn't
is just and as far as breathing is concerned, just they call it four square breathing. You count to 5, taking a breath in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hold it for the count of 5, and then let it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it for the count of 5.
I just learned all this in a conference I went to. In I think it was May I went, and it was a psychiatrist that was talking. And he said the same thing.
And like Bob was saying, scream if you need to scream. Be careful where you are when you scream, because they might call the police, or scream into a pillow or something like that.
Go in your closet and
For some
scream.
people, screaming helps. For some people, it doesn't help. It just increases their anxiety.
And it just gives them a sore throat.
That's true. That's true.
All right, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much,
Welcome.
Dr. Jean.
Glad I got here before the show was over.
I know, right? No, I knew you'd be here. So we will see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Don't go away. Hang on. Randy's here. He's always got something good to talk about on Way Back Wednesday, something. Way Back Wednesday. So we will see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Good night.
Good night.